This week we're going to talk about irreducible complexity and intelligent design. Eugenie Scott, who you heard from the first week, and other evolutionary advocates see this as kind of like a backdoor attempt to drag God back into the classroom and get religious teaching back into the science department. But other people, like Behe, who came up with this theory of intelligent design, are not blatantly advocating theism, but they're simply looking at the data, and they've come to the conclusion that there's some things that are much too complex to have happened randomly or by chance, and that's why they use the term intelligent design. The complexity in design points to, or their inferences, there must have been a designer. So that's where we're going to look this week. I'm going to show you some examples from nature that seem to be irreducibly complex. What irreducibly complex means is that you have different parts which all have to work together in order for something to function. And if one of those parts is missing, you have non-functionality of whatever that part is. I'm going to show you exploding gas chamber from the bombardier beetle. We're going to look at the human eye and what's required to work together there. And we're going to look at a rotary motor on a bacteria, which they use for locomotion. And these are three very complex things. I mean, this is just a small sampler of many complex things we see in nature. And we're going to look at both sides, trying to present whether this could have evolved through incremental steps from a simple to a complex system, or if this is a unit that works as a whole and must be seen as a whole. For the prompts this week, I'm going to ask you questions about irreducible complexity and intelligent design. And I'd like your opinions on, do you think this is just a backdoor attempt to get God or creationism back into the classroom as a religious teaching, or do you think this is good science? And the other question I want you to think about is, when you label something as irreducibly complex, does that mean kind of like religion begins and science ends because you have no more scientific explanation for it? And so I want you to think about that, and if that's true or not. Does this theory of irreducible complexity make for lazy science? Think of all the things that we thought were irreducibly complex 50, even 20 years ago, that the more we've researched and studied, we've gained more knowledge and we understand how things work and why, and perhaps how they came to be. And my concern is, once we go down this path of irreducible complexity, does that mean science stops and we just kind of like fall into the arms of Jesus and just say, I believe? And I'm not opposed to belief, but I'm also not opposed to knowledge or using reason and trying to understand what we can about the world. So think about those questions as you look at this week's videos. I think you'll be really intrigued at the different takes both sides have, and I'll look forward to seeing which side you end up on this discussion. Thank you.